Free thinkers, what's good? You uplifting the community. The community is growing, so shouts to y'all. You know what I'm saying? We doing it, you heard? First, before we even get into all of the subject matter, how many miles did you run today? Did you have your iced coffee today? Me personally, I did 14 miles today, but my watch didn't want to sync it, so it's like, did it even really happen? Has that ever happened to you? All right, and we're gonna add one more question to the mix. What's something new you learned this month or this year? Could be about yourself, it could be about anything, could even be about running, because we kicking some knowledge today. Here's a couple of things that I wish I knew. It's in the beginning, I feel like it would have took me to the next level. Shouts to everybody that's new here. You might have saw the title and you clicked on this. You either preparing for your first marathon, you got a marathon on the way, or you a seasoned veteran, right? You just, this is an open discussion, so you might want to be like, you might want to be in the comments like, yeah, I agree with that, or I disagree with that. You know what I'm saying? We here to kick knowledge. Add it right in the comments. This is a great community to learn and give back and just having an open discussion, you dig? So without further ado, let's get into it, you dig?
All right, so tip number one, right? Or these aren't even in any order, but here's tip number one. Running marathons isn't just about the miles that you put in. Like, that is very important. It's also about recovery. Cause it's like, yo, how are you supposed to get your mind right if you're not even recovering the right way? Like your stress levels gotta be right. You know what I'm saying? What you eat during that day, how much you off your feet. All these little things play into it. Cause it's like, all right, bet, you go out there, you run 8 miles, right? You're tired. Then you go to your job. You get stressed out. You know what I'm saying? Then you go home. Maybe you start arguing with a friend. And all while being on your feet. It's like, yo, how are you supposed to recover how are you supposed to recover and be ready for the next day when you got all these different things that you're not even recovering properly? Massaging, you're not stretching, you're not icing your legs, you're not doing any of that. So then it's like the next day comes and it's like you gotta run 8 again, or maybe you gotta run 13. How are you supposed to run that 13 miles is if you're still stressed from yesterday, and then you start to feel all the heavy burden on your shoulders of having to go out and run 13 miles. And what does that do? Make you even more stressed. Recovering, you gotta make sure you're calm, you gotta make sure you're relaxed, you gotta make sure you stay off your feet for a certain amount of time, if possible. And if you can't stay off your feet, make sure you get a massage, make sure you ice your legs, stretch, all of these different things to help with your stress level. Make sure that you find a way to stay as calm as possible. We gotta change our perspective on pain and suffering. Getting used to pain and suffering during your marathon training will be extremely helpful when you go out there and it's time to run. Running marathons is very, 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 very difficult. Like, extremely difficult. Like, if you ran a marathon, you know that like pain and suffering is a part of it. Like, you're gonna get to a point where you got nothing left, you on E, you didn't put in the 20 miles, and now you got that last 10K, that last 6 miles, right? And the only thing that's gonna get you through that is willing yourself through. Obviously, you're training too, because you got to be very prepared. But when you change your perspective on pain and suffering, and then you see pain and suffering as a positive, you're able to will yourself through more, because the mind, I told y'all about getting your mind right. This ain't about no shoes. I don't have nothing left. I can't function. I can't do this. I can't do that. But you ain't even gonna have to worry. Your will take you through those last 6 miles, and you're gonna crush it. Because then you're gonna go back to all your training. You're gonna go back to that interval training. You're gonna go back to that Tuesday. If you had interval training on Tuesday and you ran that 10K at that faster speed, it's gonna kick in. But you gotta see that pain as a positive. You should feel drained after that. You should feel like, damn, this training is crazy. Like, you should embrace the pain, because if you embrace the pain, then when you feel it coming, it's like, oh yes, now I know how to change gears and go harder. It's just like in the rest of our lives, we try to escape, we try to sidestep pain, we try to get away from the uncomfortable. It's like with marathon training, you gotta lean into that. The will to succeed will push you through. Your mind over matter will get you there, and you can apply it to anything in life. I started from a base of being tired. I started from a base of like, yo, my mental was already in it. See pain and suffering as a positive. Like, I look around the subreddits and I see like, yo, I'm at the end of my marathon. I feel beat, I feel drained. Embrace that. Be like, yes, I'm happy. That means that I put in that work.
All scars, we earn them. All courses, we learn them like the back of our hand. You should know the course, the marathon course or the race, like the back of your hand. You gotta sit down and you gotta really study that course. That's one thing I didn't know going into it. Like I didn't know, like yes, I looked at races like, okay, it's 26.2 miles. Let me just go out there and run. It's like, yo, if it's 26.2 miles, they're not, even though they're all the same length, they're not built the same. Rolling hills, hilly courses, elevation drops. These are things that change everything. Like, always remember the 4 P's. If anything else fails you, preparation, planning, perseverance, and pain. Those 4 P's will get you through anything. When you go out there to choose a course, or if you just chose one randomly, like I said, study it like the back, know that joint like the back of your hand. There's a lot of hills. Try to, during your runs, if it's a hill in mile 6, make sure during your train runs, if you're doing a 10-mile or a 6-mile run, a 8-mile run, at mile 6, make sure you feel a hill. Do things like that so that way when the day comes, you ready for it. Say you wanted to average 7:30. Ideal race is your first mile is 7:30. Every mile you just hit 7:30 going throughout it. Or you start out in like the 50s, and then you gradually pace down. Like I said, as a positive, someplace that you could just sit, someplace that you can't be moved or rocked. What can really stop you? It's like your body and your mind's gonna throw everything at you to stop you. Your body is gonna feel every ache and pain. But it's like, yo, I'm used to this. This is how I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be at the time I'm supposed to be it, because I feel all the pain. Once you change that to a positive, what's a marathon? Matter of fact, if you see that with anything, like anything that's difficult, anything that's like, that seems very intimidating, anything that seems like very painful or very hard, if you understand that like, yo, I'm gonna suffer through this, I'm gonna have to endure this, what is there besides just sitting down and like, all right, this is how I get better now, this is how I learn the skill now. You're gonna feel that. Like your legs gonna feel tight, you're gonna get tired, your shoulders gonna drop, but it's like, yo, this is exactly where I wanna be. This is what I've been waiting for. This is where I'm at with it. Can't nothing stop you, player. Let's get it.